Welcome! Each week I look through reports from around the world at interesting weather events and natural disasters, and I then summarize them in this video. And this video is covering the week from the 4th to the 10th of August 2019. On the 4th of August, a major earthquake rattled Japan. It was a 6.3 magnitude quake, and it was off the northeast coast of Honshu, the main island of Japan. It rattled homes in Tokyo, but there was fortunately no tsunami associated with it. On that same day, there was a ferry disaster in the Philippine Islands. Strong winds made several ferries capsize. Over 31 people died, and there are still 3 missing. On the 5th of August, a deadly flash flood occurred in the Duobi Gorge in China. This is sometimes called the Leaping Tiger Gorge. It killed 12 tourists and 61 other people had to be rescued. This is a real pity because the local weather forecaster had warned people to stay away from this gorge because of the danger of flash flooding, and it seems a lot of people decided to ignore the warning. Now you might think these divots in the grass here are from a particularly bad golfer like myself, but it's not. These are dents in the grass made by large hailstones. On the 5th of August, heavy thunderstorms hit Minnesota with winds of up to 80 miles per hour. Hailstones up to 4 inches across hit the ground. It damaged cars and did other property damage. At first glance, parasitic architecture doesn't sound like a good thing, but it turns out it is. Communities are now being built on the top of high-rise structures like this parking garage here in Jakarta, Indonesia. It provides people with a small house with a lovely view of the city, only minutes from the city centre. So this saves on energy and is better land usage. How well do you like your steaks done? Temperatures in Phoenix, Arizona have topped 100 degrees Fahrenheit for the last week. A mail carrier, trying to complain about the working conditions that he has to work under, cooked a steak to the level of medium on the dashboard of his car in under 3 hours. This was to protest the unsafe working conditions where the temperatures inside the cabin of the mail trucks can reach 130 degrees Fahrenheit. On the 6th of August, I saw a hot property for sale. Do you want to buy a volcano for just $70,000? No, not this one. This one. This is an extinct volcano in southern England. It's covered by nearly 5 acres of woods. But if you ever wanted to buy a volcano, this is probably your best chance. It seems to be the same story around the world. Forests are dying, this time in Germany. The German environmental minister said that Germany's forests were massively damaged. They've lost over 200,000 football fields worth of area already. It's being caused by a combination of heat, drought, storms, fires, beetle infestations, and fungus blight. They're convening an emergency meeting next week to discuss what to do about all of these problems. On the 7th of August, the horsefly fire was reported in Montana. It was spreading rapidly. It had burned over 2 square miles so far and is 0% contained. It's been fueled by dead trees in the forest, see previous item. The trees were killed by pine beetles and made worse by the fact that the mild winters are not killing off these pests. Many evacuations have been ordered in the area. A very bad winter storm has just hit Australia, particularly the province of Victoria. 1 woman was killed and 2 children injured when a gum tree fell on their car. Flights from the local airports were cancelled. Wild surf snapped a pier in half. There were heavy snow in some places, and it was called the worst winter storm so far this year. While Australia shivered, Japan perspired. Temperatures in Tokyo topped 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 39 degrees centigrade one day. There have been 55 deaths attributed to the heat, and over 18,000 people hospitalized. The heat wave has lasted nearly a week so far. Severe storms hit the United States on the 8th of August. The Northeast was hit by torrential rains. From Virginia to New York, spectacular lightning and small hail, and there was a tornado registered in New Jersey. California is being invaded by another type of immigrant. This time, nutria. They're a giant rodent from South America. They're an invasive species that is plaguing California at the moment. They are now found in 22 other states as well. They dig into the levees, weakening them, and do a great deal of crop damage. While the Atlantic hurricane season seems to be off to a slow start, that is definitely untrue of the Pacific. Super Typhoon Likima, with winds of 115 miles an hour, is approaching mainland China. And there's another typhoon immediately following behind it, Kurosa. And this is the fourth typhoon that has formed in the Pacific Basin this week. Yet another heat wave is hitting Spain at the moment. New high temperature records were set in eastern Spain, following the two intense heat waves that it had last month. Great Britain was hit again by severe storms. 60-mile-an-hour winds were registered along the Channel coast and in Wales. Heavy rain in the southwest, Northern Ireland and Wales. The Channel ferries were delayed. Train tracks in Scotland were flooded, and motorists were advised not to travel. The weather experts have declared that El Nino is over, at least for now. The El Nino is a warming of the eastern Pacific, and that seems to have died away. A weak El Nino formed about a year ago and has been steadily decaying ever since. The Southern Oscillation Index, which is a measure of El Nino, has now dropped below 0.5, and so El Nino is officially ended. Hence, so neutral conditions are now prevail, but there's still a 30% chance that a new El Nino will establish in the next year or so. A ENSO neutral situation, in fact, encourages Atlantic hurricanes to form. So this may be a matter of good news, bad news. The prize for the hottest spot in the world this week goes to Lamerd in Iran. The temperatures there reached 50 degrees centigrade or 122 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday. Lastly, we take a look at this week's temperatures. In the daily records, the number of high records set was 934 compared to just 298 low temperature records. That's a ratio of 3 to 1. Monthly was very similar, with 58 new high records with only 10 new low records. That's a ratio of nearly 6 to 1. And all time, we have 11 new records compared with 1 cold record, and that's a ratio of 11 to 1. Well, that's all the weather news for this week. If you enjoyed this, please pass this on to your friends and family. So until next time, stay safe. Bye for now.